Wild rabbit is an unappreciated meat in many parts of the world. When I've been hunting in Australia or New Zealand, it has not been like the thing that people take care of and appreciate. But here in Europe it's different. In Sweden we only have wild rabbit in two places, Skåne and Gotland. That's why me and my wife go to Gotland every year and hunt rabbit. We love rabbit, it's like a white meat, and for us it's a luxury. So we went to Gotland last summer and we shot 50 rabbits, and I'm gonna show you what our number one favorite recipe to cook rabbit. We're gonna make a shepherd's pie with rabbit thighs. So one thing before I start cooking is that if you shoot a bunch of rabbits, I think that you should pack the thighs by itself and the backs on their own, because when you make a stew or a pie like this, you shouldn't really use backs. I took up some backs just to show you, but I think that you should only do it with the thighs because they're quite tough, and if you boil the back in a crock pot, you're gonna boil it to shit. It's gonna be just fibers left in the sauce. So it's these saddles do really well on the barbecue, or like treated as really nice meat that you can cook tender and rare. So let me show you how to cook a shepherd's pie with wild rabbit, and show you another time how to make the saddles. So the first thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna fry just the surface of the rabbit, and we're gonna have some pepper in there. I always use a blend of white pepper and black pepper, and then we're gonna have some salt. It's a good start of the hunting season because you can hunt rabbits when you're not allowed to hunt anything else in Sweden. So that's why we go there, to start off the season. It's also a good way of getting a lot of hunting situations and a lot of shots fired, so you're gonna get started in a good way. Let's make a nice fried surface on these ones. I always use cast iron pots and pans. I think they work really well. So now I've fried these for about, I don't know, 5, maybe 7 minutes or something. So they get a little bit of color. So they get a nice surface. And now we're gonna chuck them in the slow cooker. It works fine in a crock pot as well, if you leave it overnight, but I have a slow cooker, so we're gonna use that. Put them in here. My father and mother-in-law are coming tomorrow from Australia all the way to Sweden. So this is what we're gonna feed them with. Chuck some water in here. And heat that up, and we're gonna pour that into the crock pot as well, or in the slow cooker as well, just when it's heating up. So moving that there, putting that on. I'm gonna put in some onions, some carrots, I like to use chicken stock when I use rabbits, because that's the closest I get to chicken, since we don't hunt anything. Yeah, maybe hazel grouse actually. It's very white. And that's some bay leaves and allspice. And now it's just to pour on water until we cover it. That's what I fried it in. Okay. we're gonna leave that overnight, and then we make the pie tomorrow. So now the rabbit thighs have been simmering in this slow cooker overnight. So now we're gonna try to assemble the pie. First of all, I'm gonna chuck this broccoli into water and just have a quick boil. So put the broccoli in the water. Now we're gonna pour off the water from the potatoes. So I boiled some potatoes to make mash. I'm just gonna make the mash with milk and butter. I'm gonna put that aside. Now we're gonna pick off the meat from the bones. Okay, now we have the meat there. Okay, nice. Now we have a nice broth. We're gonna put in some cream. This is frozen cream. We've had too much cream at other occasions, so then I've just frozen it. It works perfectly for sauce. Now we're gonna boil the sauce, reduce it until it's more concentrated, the flavors, and more saucy. Needs more flavor. I think 2 beef stock cubes are gonna do well in there. These ones. And when we're waiting for the sauce to thicken and to reduce, we can cut up the carrots. We're gonna add some white flour mixed with oil to the sauce to thicken it properly later, but first it's gonna reduce a bit more. Get some more concentrated flavor in there. So now I have let the sauce reduce down, so it's much more flavorsome. It's nice. So now we're gonna thicken it and then just assemble the pie and chuck it in the oven. Usually I use butter, but butter is so expensive nowadays with inflation, so we're gonna use oil and a little bit of flour just to thicken the sauce. The reason why I don't mix in the flour right away is it's just easier to do with oil, because it might clump with if you put it directly in the sauce, you may get clumps. You could use a sieve and stir it down. That's what my grandma did, but I'm cheating because I'm a cheater. So now every individual little microscopic grain of flour is surrounded with oil molecules that binds into them. So now they're much easier to stir into the sauce without getting any clumps whatsoever. So even if it looks like it's gonna become clumpy, it's not gonna do that because we use oil and not water. So now the sauce is thickened. I'm gonna start with the meat. Rabbits are so much fun because you get so many hunting situations. They're everywhere. Usually when I hunt up in Dalarna, which is in central Sweden. It's not that much game, so we have to walk days without shooting anything. But when you hunt rabbits, it's just action, constant action on Gotland. And you get a lot of meat with you home. Get some onions on there. That has boiled with the rabbit meat. Okay. Now we're gonna pour on some sauce. One layer of, help me honey. Broccoli. The broccoli has been gently boiled. Okay, now we're gonna put on some cheese and then we're ready for the oven. I have some broccoli left. Can I use that as, is it called garnish? No?
Yeah, or a side maybe.
Side, yeah. Huge things, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I put something underneath it in case it leaks. And now we just heat them up and then they're done. So I'll show you when I cut it up and then that's it. Wild rabbit pie, mash pie.